Hello, everybody. This is Howard, the Teaserking, the professor, and any other name we want to come up with. Let's look at college today. Any questions? Just shoot questions if you have them. I got a big lot going today and one tomorrow. Big winner yesterday, Clemson under. I knew that. I mean, their quarterback's terrible, but they got a great defense. Syracuse looks pretty good. They missed a field goal at the end of the game. I was going, God, I hope this doesn't go into overtime at 17, and it's 34, and then they score touchdowns, and it's 41, 48, 55, and we lose. The over-under was 45, so it's 51. So it was very comfortable, but that's what I hate about college overtimes. Let's check the injuries as we're here. Well, let's first check the point spread out to tell us about the injuries. Let's see. Pitt's about 5.5 over Virginia Tech. Texas Tech, it moved to 18.5. Michigan State's at 4. What's going on here? Michigan State's at 4, so that tells me 4.5 that Penix is not playing. If he was, I saw some 3.5. So he has a hurt shoulder. Without Penix, Michigan State should win this game by 2 touchdowns. Army, Wisconsin, we've been watching for the Army quarterback. The spread's still 14. The over-under is down to 38. That tells me he's not playing. It's just so much under action here. Let me see any notable line moves. Let's see. Cincinnati's up to 21.5 from 20. They started at 20. I like Cincinnati today, down to 21.5. This is a perfect. They want to make it in the playoffs, and in college, you run up the score. So you look good because if you win by 3, then, you're not a real good team, and they're at home. Central Florida's quarterback's out, so definitely like that game, and that spread's 20. I see a 22.5, so 21.5, tease it down to 15.5. You should be good. They should win by 40. Let's see. What else do we got? Money's going on Air Force. Boise's 3.5. It was 5. Utah, Arizona State. You can have either team laying 1, apparently. PointsBet has Arizona State favored. Superbook has Utah favored. Half of them have the game even. So if you do want to bet that game, tease the dog. I am staying away. I don't like the point spread. Washington 1.5 over UCLA. Liberty 32-33 over Louisiana Monroe. That should be a slaughter. Baylor's 5, right across the board over BYU. I'll check that injury in a minute if BYU's quarterback's playing or not. Texas 3.5, Oklahoma 13.5. So maybe TCU's quarterback's playing. We'll have to see. Just 1 second. Alabama 17-58. That line hasn't moved. Western Kentucky 12.5 over Old Dominion, started at 11. Georgia's 22 started at 24, 21.5 over under 44.5. Definitely play that game under. That's an under all the way. Ole Miss, Tennessee. Look at this over under 80. It's up to 82.5 now. It's ridiculous. It's going to be a high scoring game. Both teams have super high-powered offenses. If you're playing it, I'd take Tennessee as the dog at home over Mississippi, but it's definitely too high to go make an over-under on. Let's see. Stanford's down to 1 or even against Washington State, and Nevada's 14. It was 16 against Hawaii. Let's quickly check injuries. I'm going to look for the key games. Alabama, nobody really, out. I'm only looking for big names here or quarterbacks. The linemen, who cares? They have more. Army, questionable with the shoulder. But again, this is, I don't know when this is updated. I'm on covers.com. So it says he's questionable with the shoulder. I wouldn't play Army until I know he's playing. So maybe if you go on Twitter for Army, maybe they'll say there. But otherwise, it's just until he plays, I'm not playing Army until I know he's playing. Auburn, nobody out. Baylor, just a cornerback who's questionable. He'll probably be playing. Boise's got a lot of injuries, a lot of questionable. So I don't know what to do with the questionables. Are the nose tackles out, or they're just questionable, but they'll play? So again, I don't see a quarterback or a key offensive player out. BYU. Okay, let's look at their quarterback. BYU, Romney, questionable with the head. He's their starter. His brother's a receiver, so he likes throwing to his brother. So I don't know. I would assume the other quarterback's quarterbacking. So don't know what to make of it. Some of these you just got to watch and look at the box score and see if he played, and then you'll know. Buffalo, nobody injured. Kale, just some questionables. Cincinnati's healthy. Clemson. And this is funny with Clemson. They got like 15 guys on the questionable or out list. They're getting hammered by injuries. Colorado, no, it's nothing. Connecticut, Duke, Eastern, Florida. Nobody, just a couple of questionables. Florida State, I don't think they play today. Georgia, probable questionables, a bunch of questionables. DT Daniels is questionable, but he's not their quarterback. They've got the other guy at quarterback, so they're doing fine. Most of their defense, defensive back, questionable with an ankle. Is he even the starter? You don't even know. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm sure they have reserves, and this is one beautiful defense for them. So let's see. Georgia Tech, nobody. Hawaii. Cordero is a quarterback's probable, so he's fine. Illinois quarterback, I don't think they play today. Peters is questionable, but I think they're off. Indiana, Penix questionable Saturday with his shoulder, but again, as you can see from the line, he's obviously not playing, or the line would jump to 3 or so. Iowa, nobody. Iowa State, Kansas State, a couple of questionables. And they're nobody. They're linebackers or defensive people. Kentucky, wide receiver, probable. Another wide receiver's out, Crowdis, but he was out in September. It doesn't mean anything. Nothing current. Liberty, just some questionables. So I'm not seeing really major injuries. Let's see. Memphis, I think they already played. Nobody. Miami quarterback Garcia, I don't know who he is. Derek King's out. So 2 quarterbacks are out for Miami. King, I know it's the starter. Garcia, I don't know if he was the backup, but it looks like he just got on the list. So he's probably the best. So they're at their 3rd string quarterback. So don't like them. Michigan State. Backup quarterback's questionable. Nobody key is out. Just some questionables. Old Miss, running back Ely is questionable with a concussion. Missouri, nobody. The Navy, NC State, Nebraska, nobody. Nevada, nobody. New Mexico. New Mexico's quarterback's questionable. Wilson, the transfer from Kentucky, with an elbow, but he'll probably play. That's the thing. When you see him questionable, these guys are going to play. North Carolina, 3 questionables. A couple of defensive backs are out, but they've been out since September. So that doesn't, they've been replaced already. Northwestern, nothing. Notre Dame not playing. Ohio State, I don't think they're playing today. They got a boatload of questionables. Oklahoma is playing. A couple of receivers are questionable, but nothing out. Defensive ends out. Who knows? I'm sure they got defensive linemen. They rotate 9 or 10, so it doesn't matter. Oklahoma State, nothing. Couple of questionables. Nobody big. Oregon, a lot of questionables. They got 10 guys questionable. An old lineman's out with the leg. Couple of running backs. One guy's out with the leg. One guy's questionable with an arm, but I don't know the strength of the running back. Not the quarterback. I'm really worried about the quarterback. Oregon State's healthy. Penn State. Clifford, upper body. He's not playing today, but we'll keep an eye on him for next week. Pitt's healthy. Big Purdue. A couple of wide receivers are out for the year. That might be hurting them why they're not scoring. They play Iowa today. I could see why it would be an under. Their 2 receivers are out, and then how productive. Rice's quarterback's questionable. Willie Green. They're going to get slaughtered tonight by somebody. I don't remember who they're playing. Rice, UTSA. So Rice's quarterback's questionable. Rutgers, they had a quarterback. Their quarterback is questionable, undisclosed today. But again, what's the timing of these injuries? Is it today or is it the other day? San Jose State, their quarterback's questionable with an arm. I think they played yesterday. Yeah. South Carolina, their quarterback Nolan's questionable with a hand. They're not so strong anyway, but he's questionable. South Florida, a bunch of probables, 1 questionable. Receivers out. Nothing major. USC, they got like 20 guys on the injured list or on the questionable list, let's say. SMU, running backs out. Southern Miss, 2 backup quarterbacks. Neither of them play. Stanford, nothing. Syracuse played yesterday. Temple, nothing. Tennessee. So their running back is probable. Yeah, nothing. A wide receiver's questionable. Holiday. But again, doesn't mean anything. Again, what's the timing? A&M's Calzada is questionable with the leg. Again, that's earlier in the week. So really, let's see. Duggan for TCU, their quarterback's again questionable. It says Tuesday, October 12th, so maybe that's the questionable date. So you just got to see the line to see if the quarterback's out. The line will move. Let's see if there's any questions. Hi, Alex. Good morning. Just going through the injuries in the line. Nothing major in the line movements, but Michigan State stayed at 4.5, so I don't think Penix is playing. I don't see any major ones. Cincinnati moved from 20 to 21.5, 22. That's about it. Is there any questions on games that anybody wants to know? Please ask. I've got 2 locks today and with a lock tomorrow. Very good locks. Let me give you a game. UTSA laying 18.5 to Rice. I took UTSA down to 12.5. UTSA is a very strong team. They were down to Memphis 21-0 in the first quarter, getting blown out, and they won the game 30-28. So they are very good. Good quarterback. Have a great running back. And Rice is terrible. So laying 12.5, they should win pretty big today. My blowoffs today, Cincy and UAB. I like Cincy. Yeah, they have to win for the playoff. UAB, who are they playing? Southern Miss. Southern Miss is terrible. My only problem with UAB is they don't score a lot, but a lot of that depends on the schedule. I think they put up big numbers last week, UAB, against who did they? They blew out somebody. Florida Atlantic. Yeah, they beat them 31-14, but Florida Atlantic, the quarterback got injured during the game. So again, you don't know what would have happened there. I think the Iowa game stays under today, but it's such a low under at what is it? It's 30 something. Iowa. Where is it? So Iowa's 43. That's not too bad of an under. Purdue's just not scoring. I just saw the two wide receivers being out, but Iowa, they don't score much. They'll probably shut out Purdue. It'll probably be 20-3 or something like that. Yeah, well, that's good. That's what we want from UAB. I thought UAB was a really good team, but then I see they're not scoring. But I'm not analyzing their schedule. I mean, I do when I really pick, I'll look at that. But if I'm not playing it, I'm not looking at their schedule. So Stanford was 2 over Washington State. That spread's now even. I didn't see a Stanford injury, but Washington State looked really good against Oregon State last week. Because Oregon State's a really good team. They got a couple of really good runners and a good quarterback. And they beat them 31-24, but it was a fluke. It was like a strip sack, and it was that. But Washington State looks like they're throwing the ball more of a passing offense again. Mississippi, Tennessee, again, the spread went down to 2.5. I'd probably like Tennessee as a home dog. They're both explosive. The over-under went from 81 to 83, I think. I don't know how you lay an 80 in football. Southern Miss, yeah. Well, that's why they're a Z team. The reason you're a Z team is you don't score a lot and your defense sucks. So that's what we like to bet against them because, the reason there's upsets is the defense, right? The defense shuts down the offense. That's how Alabama lost last week. A&M had a very tight defense and contained them. But I like Alabama off the loss because they're playing Mississippi State. Actually, I think I like this game over. The over-under is 57. It might be 58. Alabama's going to get their 40 on everybody. And Mississippi State with Mike Leach, maybe they'll get 10. Maybe they put up a 20. So 51, Alabama's going to get you 40 of it, maybe all 50. They're not going to let up. They're pissed off after a loss. So Mississippi State, I got them as an E team, which is they score 25, they give up 25. So their defense isn't going to stop Alabama, but they should be able to score a little on Alabama. But this is going to be an ugly Alabama after a loss. That UAB, good defense, average offense. I think UAB gets turnovers. Yeah. Southern Miss starting the third string walk-on quarterback. Yeah, I wish it was that easy with quarterbacks. Miami's starting their third stringer too. I wish it was like, well, he's the third stringer, but these coaches are so bad that they'll bring in the backup and he's better than the starter. And you go, well, why is he the backup? And they play the starter because he's a senior and he's played before, and then he stinks. The backup comes in, he lights it up. Like USC, I love Slovis, and then Dart comes in and lights it up. It hurts his knee. Why isn't Dart the starter? Well, because Slovis was there. But again, just because you get that, well, that's the thing. That's why you need we need exposure and get the stats of the guy to see if he's any good. And then once you have the stats, then you can say he stinks. That's why I'd rather see a quarterback who's a third stringer who's played a few games and he's he throws for 140 and he's got 1 touchdown and 5 interceptions. I feel more comfortable playing against that guy. That's why I look at the quarterbacks. So like one example, I took Liberty today. Liberty's laying 32, maybe 33 over Louisiana Monroe, who Louisiana Monroe got lit up by nobody. Okay, Georgia State, who doesn't score, who's a Z, put up 55-21 over Louisiana Monroe at Louisiana Monroe, which tells me Louisiana Monroe is the worse Z than the Georgia State Z. So they obviously have no defense. Liberty, really good offensive team. Laying 32. I took Liberty there. I'm really playing against. I like Liberty's offense. They're a good team. They're an A team, and Louisiana Monroe is terrible. They should be. I don't think Liberty takes the foot off the gas, and I get backdoored in this game. So I mean that's a blowout. I feel pretty comfortable with a high-scoring A playing a Z that gave up 55 to another Z. Again, that's the problem. As of now, they're Z's, and then they start going. They change quarterbacks, they start going. So that's the main thing I watch out for. The whole MAC I avoided this week. MAC's been killing me. These teams. Buffalo, okay, they did good against Charlotte or against Coastal Carolina, who's the real stud with the real good quarterback, Grayson McCall. They played well there, and really they didn't play too bad against Nebraska. Now that you see Nebraska's got this killer defense, they just couldn't score, but they played them tough. But I see like a team like Nebraska is really coming on. In Minnesota, they lost their running back the first or second game, Ibrahim. So I think Nebraska should be a 9-10 point favorite today. They're 3.5. I think that's way low. I think Nebraska definitely is playing better. Martinez looks more calm. Their defense looks solid. Minnesota, Tanner Morgan's okay, but I Nebraska went to Northwestern and pounded them. I've been on Nebraska lately for the last Michigan State, and now this game and the other game. Had I known now, I wouldn't have taken the Buffalo with the 14. But that's the problem, right? You see it early. Now, this is the adjustment period I talk about of learning. So now I see Nebraska as a different team. Michigan State's a different team. Michigan's a different team. So now you know what the teams are. Now I'm not going to bet against Nebraska, where before, they're a pretty bad team. So again, with Army, Wisconsin, this over-under went down to 38. It's unbelievable. How the hell do you make a 38 in college? But I don't know if Army's quarterback's out, this will be an under. And I don't see Wisconsin scoring a whole lot either. Their offense doesn't impress me. So I don't see that. Again, it'll be a low-scoring game. But Wisconsin beat Illinois 24-0 last week. It should be a similar game against Army. There shouldn't be a lot of scoring. Army's backup quarterback hopefully improved from last 2 weeks ago when he didn't show up against Ball State. Good game, Virginia and Pitt, or Virginia Tech and Pitt. Pitt's quarterback's unbelievable. Pickett, he sucked as a freshman. He played as a freshman. He sucked. This year he's got like 21 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. They're scoring 50 points a game. Let's see what they do against the real team, Virginia Tech. They played Notre Dame real tough last week. They beat North Carolina. Virginia Tech's a real good team. Really strong defense. So this will really show you Pitt and Virginia Tech. The over-under is 57. I thought about the over at 51, thinking, well, Pitt's going to score. Virginia Tech, they played Notre Dame 32-29, so that was a 61. So they beat North Carolina week 1. It was like very low scoring. So I'm not sure. I think Pitt will score on them because they score 50 a game. I don't see Virginia Tech. They'll probably do like a Notre Dame. Notre Dame's good at passing. Pitt's good at passing. So the matchup there should be good for Pitt to score. I'm not sure Pitt wins, but because Virginia Tech looks like they can score now, but I think that might be an overplay. 51, anything in the low 50s in college with good quarterbacks. You got good quarterbacks in this game. If you have good quarterbacks, you can bet the over. Like Tom Brady and Rodgers, you bet it over. When you get the bad quarterbacks, you bet it under. That's kind of how I look at it. Even though Georgia's got a good quarterback, their defense is so freaking good. You just bet them under. Florida, LSU, Florida laying 10.5. LSU, Boute's out, the best receiver in the country. That fast little guy, number one, who would catch the ball and then run for 50 yards after it. He's out. The real quarterback, Brennan, is out. So they've been playing with Johnson, Brad Johnson's son, and he stinks. So I don't know. It's in Death Valley. They're getting 10.5 at home, but I can't touch LSU today. I think Florida wins. Florida's the much better team. That spread scares me. 10.5. Over under 58.5. Maybe an over. LSU probably will score even without Boute. But Florida will definitely let up LSU. Their defense isn't what it should be. I don't know. So you go 52. Yeah, though they should get over 52. That's 28-24. And in college, I think definitely they can score. Florida should get in the 30s. LSU, I don't know. But another one. Again, the MAC, I have no, I don't know. Texas Oak State, let's talk about that. Texas 5.5. I think it went down to 3.5. A lot of money on Oak State, apparently. The Sharps, wink, wink, who there is no Sharps. You're talking to the only Sharp that we know. Texas 5.5, 3.5. Oklahoma State's defense is very strong. They held Baylor to 14. Baylor's offense is better than Texas. They got a really good quarterback and great running back. They averaged 300 running and passing. Baylor, I'm talking. Oak State held that to 14. I look for Texas to be a little flat from the Oklahoma game, although they lost, so they won't be as flat. But I can see Oak State getting the W here. This is where I'm saying a good defensive team will shut down a good offensive team every time. And Oak State, they've switched quarterbacks to Sanders. And he used to be their starter either last year or 2 years ago. So I look for a competitive game here. Over under 60. They'll never get to 60 with Oak State's defense. And again, I'm going by the Baylor game. So I think Oak State's a live dog there. Oklahoma, TCU. Duggan, again, is questionable for TCU. They don't really say anything. So I'm not sure what to do with that. He could walk down. Okay. If Duggan plays, TCU is going to give Oklahoma all they want. TCU's been scoring a lot. SMU lit them up, though. SMU, again, beat them, I think, 55-45 or something like that. So probably a higher scoring game as long as Duggan plays. And, again, I just don't know where to get that. Maybe on Twitter you follow TCU and it says, hey, Duggan is playing. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, Covers doesn't really update you at the morning like they're playing. This is the one thing with college to get those late injuries, and all you can really do is go by the line. So I would think Oklahoma goes to 15 or 16 if Duggan doesn't play. If he does play, it might go down to 11. But I'm still seeing 13. So I think that game's later. Any guys from you guys? Let me know if you have. Arkansas Auburn will be a good game. Probably tease the dog in this one. Arkansas, as we know, is very good. Auburn played Penn State well and then played Georgia well for a little bit. Nobody's going to score a lot on Georgia. As you can see, they shut out Arkansas. Auburn got 10. I do think this is a dog game, though. I think you got Auburn's an A by statistics, and Arkansas is a B team by statistics. So that means they score in the 30s, they give up under 20. Arkansas is very close to it. And again, what happened to Arkansas is they got 0 against Georgia. Makes them look. That's why they're not an A, because their average points aren't high enough because of that. But they're very strong. Like I said, they beat Texas and Texas A&M. Everybody was like all on Mississippi last week, and I was trying to say, don't sell Arkansas short. So Arkansas, this should be a really good game. Over under a 53, you can go over 47. I think that's a pretty good play. Again, 47 in college is 27 to 20 is 47. So all you need is the teams to get into the upper 20s to get a W. And Arkansas surely scores, and Auburn surely scores. They have decent defenses, but in this type of game, I can see where they can at least somebody gets into the 30s. So I'd be surprised if it's 10 to 3. Bo Nix is good. I like Jefferson, the quarterback, Arkansas, and they can run the ball. So I think there'll be points. Again, that's the over-unders I like, are the ones in the 50s where you can go over 40. You don't need a lot. If you have competent offenses, they're going to get there. The defenses will, like Oak State, I wouldn't go over with an Oak State or a Georgia, these really strong defenses. But like Alabama, they don't have a defense. They're an over team. So it all depends. Let's see, Nevada, Hawaii, late. Nevada laying 14. About right. Hawaii doesn't travel very well. If the game was at Hawaii, I would be cautious. Nevada is very strong. They score a lot. They're a high-scoring team. And Hawaii runs the spread, so you never know if they're going to score or not. Over under a 60. Over 54 is a possibility. Nevada laying 8 is a possibility. I wouldn't touch Hawaii in 20 in this one. Hard to go against a team like Nevada with Carson Strong's a really good quarterback. They score a lot. So at home, they can get rolling. They want to win the conference. See, now you're like, okay, we want to win the conference. So you're not going to have the flat game where they're not into it because they don't need it or it's a weak opponent. They're going to kill because they want to win the title. They're not going to lose to Hawaii after beating Boise and lose the title. So they're playing for the title. Thoughts on Louisiana Tech? Good God, where are they? Are they playing today? Louisiana Tech. Who are they playing? I don't see them. UTEP. I got L Tech as an over team. I got UTEP as an under team. Good running back on UTEP. Lane 7. I don't know. I'm scared of under teams. Let me go into my stats. Let's see. L Tech. UTEP. So L Tech scores 33 and gives up 33. So they're definitely an over team. Kendall, the quarterback's one of these option throws and runs. They throw for 280 a game, run for 130. So they're fairly balanced, but they can throw. And they get 400 yards a game. UTEP scores 25, gives up 22. So they're probably a little bit more of an E than an under, but I got them as an under because they're both kind of 25 and under. Hartson, the quarterback, they throw for 213 and run for 176. So they're a balanced team. Their defense is good, not great. LTAC, what worries me there is their defense. If UTEP can run, and they can, I got Awatt and Eldridge. So if I write the name of a running back next to the quarterback, means these guys can go for 100, and they got 2 of them. I think UTEP runs the ball down their throats, and LTEC's defense gives up 33 a game. It's funny, they score 33 and give up 33. The exact same number. Did I make an error? XAV3. Yeah, I did. It's just a coincidence. They're both 33-4. So I'm not loving L Tech. If you were thinking of taking them, be careful of their defense. So what happens there? UTEP hasn't really played anyone. L Tech has a rough schedule. Well, okay. Well, if that's the case, then that's why I look at more than just the stats. But I was looking at the fact that they do have a running attack. But I'm still curious why L Tech is giving up 35 a game. So is it a lot of passing teams they're playing and losing to? That would be the question. So UTEP's a good running team. So put it that way. UTEP's pretty balanced, decent defense, not a great defense. So yeah, L Tech. Well, it depends who have they played that you're saying they have played a tough schedule. And the game's at UTEP. So that would depend on who they played in the matchup that you have versus a UTEP. But I didn't really look at the game. Utah State 7 over Vegas. I kind of like that. Utah State, very explosive team. Vegas, like they got two quarterbacks injured. They don't show a lot. And then Utah State just has to win. So if you're looking for like one of those, Utah State. But I've been getting kind of burned on these littler games or the MAC games, so I'm trying to stay away from them. I'll take a liberty. UCLA, Washington. I think UCLA is a live dog. That spread went from 2.5 down to 1.5. If you get over a touchdown there, Washington doesn't score a lot, and UCLA does. Fresno State beat UCLA with a really strong passing attack, but Washington doesn't have that. So I think that's a live dog, UCLA. Air Force Boise, same thing. Air Force, that spread went from 4.5 to 3.5. So Air Force money coming in. I like Air Force as a live dog there. I think everybody's seen the blue turf. I think that got to people because it was unusual. But now I don't think it's the same. And Boise's okay. They're not superstars. They did beat BYU, which I was impressed with. But here I like Air Force is a very strong team. Beating Wyoming was very strong. Wyoming's got a good defense. So I think this game's definitely you can tease the dog in the Air Force Boise game. I have them both as A's. So actually, Boise's a B. They lost to UCF and they lost one other to Nevada. So they're not really an A team, but they're a good team. But Air Force is really strong. So I like them. Laughers, Arizona, Colorado. You got the Z's playing the unders. Colorado is 6.5, over under 47. I think that's where you go under. Colorado doesn't score, and they got a terrible quarterback. And Arizona has a weak defense, but Colorado can't really bother the weak defense because they don't have an offense strong enough to bother it. Arizona, obviously, being a Z, doesn't score a lot. So there I can see the game 47's a nice go under 53. I think that's a good play there because Colorado does have a good defense, and there shouldn't be a lot of scoring in the game. So based on that and the fact it's in Colorado, I definitely think under 53. Anytime you get an under team playing a team with an average offense like Arizona, and you get a number in the mid 40s. Like yesterday, I had Clemson. Syracuse was 44-45. And I went under in that game because Clemson, their defense is great, but their offense sucks. That quarterback's terrible. I don't know why he's still playing that quarterback. So many incompletions. And Syracuse was a pretty good team. They had a pretty good defense. It was like Georgia, Auburn. Auburn has a good defense. Georgia's got a great defense. That game was under 50. That ended 44. W. That was a lock last week. Clemson should have locked it, but I didn't yesterday. But I knew 45. I get under 50 with that type of defense. So you can play the unders. When the unders play like an A or a B, it's going to be under because the A has a good defense by being an A or a B, and then the under team obviously has a great defense. The reason they're under is because they don't score a lot, but their defense is great. If they got a weak defense, they're a W or a Z. So that's where I come in with all these letters, is just so I don't have to keep looking. There's so many college teams that I don't have to keep going back to the stats. So I can go, oh, Clemson's an under, which I know anyway because you watch them enough. But like, so if you look at Texas Tech, Kansas, Texas Tech's an over, and Kansas is a Z. So Texas Tech should score plenty. But I'm scared of the 67 against the Z because I think Texas Tech wins like 40-10. They don't get over, but they blow them out because Kansas has no defense and Tech is good. Question is Tech, are they scoring again, and is their quarterback healthy and everything? South Carolina, Vandy, again, Z against like a W. South Carolina is more of an under. Vandy's terrible. South Carolina's quarterback's got a hurt hand. So, probably a very low scoring game with South Carolina. But again, don't know. Boston College, our quarterback's out for the year. So their backup's okay. Nothing, at least the backup's been playing. Not like if Alex is saying on the other with the, what was that? If the defense, if the quarterback gets hurt, right? The third stringer for UAB or for Southern Miss, right? Well, here we already know the second stringer for BC. He's been playing a while, so you've got data on him to say is he any good or not. NC State's quarterback Leary is very good. He's like 15-3 touchdown interceptions, so he's very strong. So you kind of know that. I'm surprised that spread's only 3, but BC looks like they have a good defense. They're an under team. NC State I have as an A, so it could be an under game, 53, so maybe under 59, or NC State +3. I don't know. I didn't play it, but that would be my thought was NC State getting points with the better quarterback, but you got a tough defense in BC, so it probably goes under. Again, it's hard to say. Anything else? I've covered just about everything. Take the Texas Tech team total over. Well, but is Kansas going to score? So if Kansas isn't going to score in the game, then take Tech, lay 17, you lay 11. If you think that Kansas can score 30 points, then yeah, go over. But I don't think Kansas I know Texas Tech has a terrible defense. The question is Kansas's offense. I think the quarterback Bean, he's okay. They've shown sparks of offense, but against Duke, they put up a lot. And Duke's also got a terrible defense. So, yeah, it could be over, but it's 67. Maybe it's 68 now. So it's a big number to go over. Either way. I like North Carolina over Miami. North Carolina laying 7. Miami, King's out. The second quarterback's out. They suck. In North Carolina, they've been a mystery. Howell is not very good. No Heisman. I love how him and Rattler are the Heisman guys. They both stink. Howell, I don't know what's wrong with him. They had the runners last year, and the runners went to the pros. 2 good running backs, which they don't have this year. So North Carolina is now winning and losing. But here at home, laying 7 down to 1, unless there's some major injury that I don't see, that should be a good play, laying 1 against kind of a weak Miami team, especially without a quarterback. Miami has not looked good. They barely beat App State, and then Michigan State killed them. And I think last week they got killed again at home. So, yeah, I think North Carolina at home, I think it's a good win for them. I think they'll definitely beat them. What do we got? Game time. So let's go watch the noon games. Any other questions, let me know. I'll give you another minute to ask a question. Otherwise, those are your games for today. Tomorrow we'll talk pros. About 11 o'clock. Is that a good time? Or 11:30? Is that would you prefer that? Where's my pros? We can do either of those, but I'm trying to field these game day questions. So I give you the thoughts during the week, and then this is really okay. Here's the line movements. Here's injuries. Now, obviously, the pros will get a better injury take tomorrow because they tell you it's much more apparent the guy's injured. Like McCaffrey for Carolina, we know he's out, and we know Tyrod Taylor's out for Houston, and Miami. Are they starting Brissett or are they starting Tui? Jacksonville, it doesn't matter who they start. But so it's just things like that. I think Fields is starting for the Bears, and you can see Chicago's now a 6-point favorite, or Green Bay. So we'll talk about that tomorrow in the pros. But right now, again, I have 2 lock games with one team in both locks and 2 others. So 2 college locks going today. So anyway, good luck, and I hope we all win a lot today and hurt the bookies. I guess that's it. So let's go watch some football, take some notes. Some of these teams, let's see the new quarterbacks, or Iowa, Purdue. Iowa should shut them out. Michigan State, Nebraska, those type of teams should have some good victories. So anyway, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much. Again, go to www.teaserking.com. And you'll get my email there, and you can email me with questions. I get quite a few, and as you can see, I have no problem answering them. I just won't, I still want buyers, so I won't say, oh, my lock is this or my plays are that. But I'm giving you my thoughts here. So anyway, have a great day. Thank you very much. The professor signing off.